Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm the owner of seasonandserveblog.com. So we're back in the kitchen again today and we are making another holiday appetizer recipe, and today we are going to be making my fried feta with sesame triangles. This appetizer is super unique and it's basically fried feta cheese, so it's going to have a nice soft and gooey texture in the middle and a nice crunchy sesame coating on the outside, and it is going to be delicious, and it's completely gluten-free, which is great for the holidays. So if you want to learn how to make my fried feta with sesame triangles, just keep on watching. So to start off this recipe, we are going to prepare the feta cheese, and I bought a nice big brick of feta cheese and I cut it in half lengthwise, and then I cut it into little triangles just like this. Now they are a little bit on the large size and it's a lot of cheese to eat, but honestly, when you eat these, you're going to want to have a piece as big because they are so good. And I've also set up the breading station, and we're going to dip the feta first into some cornstarch. I'm going to add a few seasonings to this, but this makes it gluten-free. If you just have all-purpose flour and you don't have any gluten sensitivities or anything like that, you can just use that, but the cornstarch makes it a little bit crispier and so good. So after that, we're going to move it into the egg, and then I have some sesame seeds here. It's just some black ones and white ones that I've mixed together, in total about half a cup of that. So before we get to breading, we're going to season our cornstarch, and I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We don't want a lot of heat. You don't have to use the cayenne pepper, don't use as much, but I like the little bit of heat in contrast to the cheese and the sesame. It is such a good combination. And we're also going to put some ground pepper in there. We're going to do about half a teaspoon. Once we have those in, we're just going to mix this up and just get everything mixed to combine. And it's always important to season the breading mixture. I find it adds so much more flavor and it just adds layers to the recipe, which is really nice. So now that's all mixed up, we are good to go. We are not going to add any salt to this because the feta cheese is already pretty salty, so we don't need any extra salt in this recipe. So now we're going to get to breading, and I'm going to take a piece of feta cheese, going to go directly into the cornstarch, and we're going to get all sides covered. Look at how beautiful that is. Honestly, you could fry it just like this and it would have a nice crispy coating, but the sesame, so good. So next, this is going to go into our egg mixture, and this is just one egg that I beat together and added a little tiny splash of water. And again, we're going to get all the sides coated. And then we're going to put it into our sesame mixture. And we're going to coat this on all sides with the sesame seeds, and oh my gosh, it is going to be so good. And look how pretty that is too. And then once you have it all coated in the sesame, I just like to tap it to get any loose seeds off. And then we have a beautiful sesame coated feta triangle. Look at how beautiful. I'll show you one more time. We're going to go into the cornstarch mixture just like that. Get all the sides coated. Then we're going to go into the egg mixture. Then we're going to go into the sesame again. So we're just going to set that on the plate, and I'm going to continue breading all of the feta cheese. This is going to be amazing. So this recipe was actually inspired by a Greek dish of feta cheese wrapped in phyllo pastry that's shallow fried, and that recipe is really good in itself, but I wanted to do something different and have a gluten-free recipe available for entertaining guests this holiday season. A lot of holiday appetizers have wheat in it or some sort of gluten, and I want to have some gluten-free options for guests when they come over for the holidays. And going back to that recipe that it was inspired from with the feta cheese rolled in the phyllo pastry, what's really traditional about that recipe is that it's drizzled in honey. We're kind of doing the same thing in this recipe. It's just going to have a nice sesame crust with a drizzle of honey on top, and the sweet and salty combination of the feta cheese and honey is so perfect. All right, so now all of our feta triangles are coated in the sesame seeds. Now we're going to take them over to the stove and we're going to fry them. So now we're over at the stove and we're going to fry our feta and sesame triangles. So I'm going to turn the stove on to medium high, and before the pan gets hot, we are going to add some olive oil. So this is going to go directly into the pan. So in total, this is about a cup of olive oil in the pan, and you want to make sure that the bottom of the pan is generously coated in the olive oil because we're going to shallow fry. So we don't need it to be super deep, like we're going to deep fry these. nice generous coating of olive oil on the bottom of the pan is perfect. So once the olive oil is nice and hot, we're going to go ahead and place our feta triangles directly in the olive oil. When you place it in, it should sizzle just like that, and we'll start cooking it immediately. So after about 2 minutes of frying, we're going to flip these over, and you'll know when they're ready when you can see all the sesame seeds on the bottom have turned a nice golden brown. That is the perfect time to flip these over. Ooh, be careful. Oil is a little bit dangerous. Now once they're all flipped over, we're going to cook them for another 2 minutes, and then we're going to make sure we get the sides too. So we're going to kind of stand them up on the sides, get all those sesame seeds on the side of the feta cheese nice and golden brown, and it's going to be amazing. So if you don't want to shallow fry these like this, you don't have to. You can actually bake this recipe, and all you have to do is just line a baking tray with parchment paper and brush it with a little bit of olive oil, and then simply place all the feta triangles on that and bake in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I like to kind of coat them with a little bit of olive oil, just a light drizzle, just so that it gets that nice crisp golden coating, just like if you were to shallow fry them like this. So that's another way you can do it if you want, but I highly recommend doing it the shallow frying way because it is just so good and adds tons of flavor. You set these out at a holiday party, people are going to be like, oh my god, what is that?
Oh my god, what is that?
So stunning. These are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and once your feta and sesame triangles are all golden brown on all the sides, we're going to take them out and we're going to drain them on a paper towel just to absorb that excess oil. And then we're going to let these cool for about 5 to 10 minutes just because the inside is like molten cheese at this point. So we want to have that reset and stay all inside the middle of the sesame casing. I should also turn that off. Okay, so once your fried feta and sesame triangles have cooled for about 5 minutes, we are going to carefully arrange these into a beautiful dish. I am stacking them kind of on their sides, just flat. I want to add a little bit of height just to make the presentation a little bit extra special. All right, and once they're all arranged in the dish, they're looking all beautiful. We are just going to add a little bit of extra color with the addition of some chopped parsley. The bright green of the parsley makes these look extra appetizing and delicious. And we're going to do a little garnish on the side with some more parsley. And for the best part of this recipe is the honey, and I'm using local Vancouver Island honey. This is from Babe's Honey Farm, and it's their wildflower honey. It's my favorite honey ever. And we're just going to take a little honey scoop, and we're going to drizzle this right over all of those fried feta and sesame triangles. And you can add as much or as little honey as you want, but I like a fairly good amount because the salty and sweet combination is so perfect in this recipe. Once you have all the honey drizzled all over the feta triangles, we are going to serve this right away. They're best served when they're still pretty warm. But yeah, you can have these as a finger food. You can even put them on a salad as like a first course sort of thing, but they are amazing. So let me try one. We're going to take this one, I think. Oh my god. So right up front you get all that beautiful toasted sesame flavor, and then you hit this salty gooey cheese in the middle with a little bit of sweetness from the honey and a little bit of freshness too from the parsley that works really well together. This is amazing. This is the best holiday appetizer I've ever created. Like, this is delicious. And that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make my fried feta and sesame triangles. These are going to be a major hit at any holiday party this season. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you hit the like button down below, as well as the subscribe button for more delicious seasonal recipes. And also, you can get the full recipe for my fried feta and sesame triangles on my blog, seasonserveblog.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!